Okay, so just picking back up where we left off, you can change the icons, the pictures in your presentation. It's very, very, formatable. You can, or editable. You can definitely, personalize it however you like. I really like this design ideas feature because honestly, it gives me ideas that I would never have been able to create on my own or to think about. It can give you sort of design ideas that are a little bit different in color, and theme from something that you would, typically kind of pick as a normal theme. And I like seeing sort of, creativity here. This kind of cuts that for you, and so you're spending more time thinking about the content than actually making it really, really pretty, because this is sort of doing it for you. If you wanted to change, let's say you have some icons and you're like, I don't love this one. I'd like to swap it out. You can of course change it. So I'm in the design tab here. You can go into the smart art design to look and find things. You can go into format, and you can go into graphic format. Any of these kind of will bring you to the same sort of thing here. You can change the general shape in format, and in graphics format, you can change the graphic. So you can actually save something from a file. You can, find something online, find it from your clipboard. But if you're trying to find an icon, there's built-in icons in Microsoft Word. And I always try to find the ducky. The ducky will show me where the icons are. And what's really cool is you can actually search different things. So let's say I wanted to look up sleep. Well, here are 4 different icons dealing with sleep. These are all really, nice things that you can choose from. You can change the color. You can change, how big they are, how small they are, and you can actually go through, instead of searching something specific, you can go maybe through education, and actually look through different categories. And then once you click on it, it of course will then be added into your slide as a new icon, and then you can switch those out however you like. If you click on your different slides after you've kind of got all the content on there, go back to that design, go back to, design ideas. Again, you can get some really nice sort of creative things. They've got some pictures that they already sort of have on here that you could use depending on what you like. So let's say you're like, ooh, I like this for my thesis statement. I'm going to keep this. Now, one thing that you want to keep in mind here is the font sizes is a little bit on the small side. So you can, of course, customize this by increasing the font of the whole thing. And let's say you just want to make it bigger, you want to edit it, you can still do that. If you're doing something like prevalence rates, if you're doing things that have percentages, so if you're talking about a disorder, for example, you might want to talk about prevalence rates, just to give you a few ideas. Of course, you could go in and see, okay, well, what does PowerPoint say in terms of giving me an idea? So you can go to design, and you can go to design ideas. And here, this is really nice. This is a kind of a neat one where they actually have it in 2 different boxes. But you could also do things like add little people. And so maybe you say 2 out of 3 people are like this. And then you can add in those icons, just like a stick figure. And then you could color, 2 out of 3 of them. So let's say here you want to do, you can insert different graphics. And here's the icon feature here. And then you want to do, let's say, man. Okay. And then you insert, let's say you want to insert more than one here. You could, copy and paste however many you want. And then, this is just ideas for you to play around with. And so, let's say you want to change the format, the color of it, you could tell it that the solid fill is orange. I don't know. And so your whole point is 2 out of 3 people have this condition, or whatever it might be. And so that's a nice representation that is maybe, a little bit different than just writing the text. Now you've got, a nice visual representation of what this is, in the scope of, of actual people. So it's a neat sort of concept to think about your presentation, instead of just thinking of, oh, this is, just just a slide. This is something that can actually add to what you're trying to describe and what you're trying to explain. And so, you want to approach your presentation in a way that is aiding what you're saying. It's helping. So as you go through and add your different slides, a lot of students ask about things like adding an animation, so making things kind of fly in from the side. When you have a really well-rehearsed presentation, it's not a bad idea. But what I've found a lot of times is students tend to forget how many points they have on the slide. And so if you're kind of clicking through, it might mess you up. If it takes too long to kind of come in as you're trying to talk about it, it can trip people up. So honestly, I don't particularly love the idea of animations. This is just, something that you can do if you are feeling really fancy and you're really well practiced. But honestly, to me, it's not a big deal. So, as you move to your next slide, it's going to move. So here I have no animations. I'm going to go ahead and practice this with the presentation mode up. And depending if you have your iPad or a Mac or having it on presentation mode, you can actually see a preview of your slide. But I would suggest knowing what comes next regardless and practicing that. And then see as I click through it, there's no animations here. It just moves from point to point. Make sure that, the major things that you want to have is, your title and your name. You want to make sure that you have a good organization as you move through it. You want to make sure that you have citations where appropriate. Make sure you don't have any spelling errors and grammar errors. I want you to have fun with this. The whole point of you presenting your whole paper and presenting your work is, to demonstrate that you know what you're talking about. And I think that you've already, you've already got that because you've demonstrated that with the TikTok thesis video. But now I want to see that you can do it in a more formal way. And so I would suggest not reading off your slide. You will have to dress rather formally. So, we're just looking for, something that, a nice top. Obviously don't come in without a shirt on. You want to look rather, put together. And you'll have 10 minutes to do your presentation. And we'll open the floor for a couple of minutes for any questions that people might have. So hopefully this will help you in designing your slides. If you have any questions, of course, you can email me. Remember that the quality matters over anything and that you've practiced your presentation and that it has a logical flow moving from point to point. And of course, the end will be your conclusion that you will make. And, again, this is where I want to see your sort of mic drop moment. I want to see your, having a bunch of different, a couple of major big points and then a bunch of sources as examples of what that is. And you can talk about people and studies throughout the presentation, Smith and colleagues did a study in 2010 where they found this and that supports blah, blah, blah. So just remember to speak formally and to make sure that you keep an eye on your time so that you do your presentation in no longer than 10 minutes. We're looking at, anywhere between a 9 to 10 minute window. So if you have any questions, please let me know and I will be happy to answer them.